So if you've been following the news recently, you know what is happening in Ghana's parliament. So as is our tradition has been, especially in the political space, before the president-elect is sworn in 7th January, the incumbent president, which is a sitting president, and in our case, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, has to give his final State of the Nation address so that he abreast the people of Ghana what he's leaving behind. And he's supposed to do it at Parliament, and so he did it recently. But something interesting happened there. Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, who is the Deputy Minority Speaker and MP for Elembele constituency in the Western region, made a profound statement, a speech. A lot of people have come out to say that it was uncalled for, it was disrespectful to the president and to the office of the president. Some people have also commended him for what he did. So I want us to watch the video. Don't skip it. Watch the video and then I'll come back and give my comment on it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
To thank His Excellency the President for the message on the state of the nation that he has just delivered. Mr. Speaker, I need to remind you that the people of Ghana have already given their verdict on the true state of the nation. And that verdict was very, very clear. Economic hardship, huge debt overhang, high youth unemployment, hopelessness, and more.
And you are thanking him for this.
We have come to the end of the road for what has been undoubtedly the West government under the Fourth Republic. Right, Honourable Speaker, this abysmal record was confirmed on December 7th when the people of Ghana returned the most overwhelming and emphatic vote of rejection of any government ever witnessed under the Fourth Republic. Mr. President, you will be remembered as the first president who was cushioned by the IMF when you began, and you are still being cushioned at the end of your term. Mr. President, you left something very important in your account. You left out an account of your promise to God to build him a cathedral. But Mr. President, Mr. President, I will leave that for you, between you and your God. Mr. President, let me remind His Excellency, Honourable Speaker, that his tenure in office will remain a timely reminder of how not to govern the country. But let me also be quick to assure the good people of Ghana that hope is on its way. In President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, we can once again glean a brighter future from the throes of despair. Together we will work hard to lift ourselves from this historic low and reclaim our place, our glory as the Black Star of Africa once again. Fellow Ghanaians, we are comforted and strengthened by the following words of scripture. And I'm quoting Exodus chapter 14, verse 13. And I quote, "And Moses said unto the people, Fear you not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more." Bye-bye, Mr. President. It is finished. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Wow, I've watched that video more than 50 times. I don't usually do political commentaries, but I had to say something about this. Not necessarily because of what happened, but because of the perception that people have. You know, in Ghana, we have this perception that you cannot speak, you can't maybe correct an elder, or you can't speak back to an elder. So if an elderly person says something, you're supposed to be mute. and any effort to try to communicate back to the person, we deem it culturally as disrespectful. But I think that is a culture that has to fade away, since culture itself is dynamic, because it's not necessarily the best thing, because it will always fight against innovation and progress. There are many times where elderly people, as genuine as they are, would make mistakes in their path, and they would need to be corrected. And even this is not inconsistent with the philosophy of Scripture. 1 Timothy chapter 5, it tells us that do not rebuke your father, but exhort them and correct them as your father. So the Bible does not frown upon correcting fathers. It just frowns upon doing it in a harsh, aggressive way. So if you do it in a respectful way, it is right. So all this perception that if somebody is older than you and they're making a mistake, you can't correct them, is not really the best culture, especially in a time like this where we are trying to build a nation. So if, no matter how old a person is, if what they are saying is not true, if what they are saying is false, we as young people can tell them respectfully that what you're doing is wrong. And so the what people are saying, that because the president is older than the MP, he shouldn't have made such a statement, does not really lie with the truth, because just because he's older does not mean that he cannot be corrected. So that is one thing. The second thing is that let's look at the tone with which the honorable member of parliament was speaking with. It wasn't a tone of disrespect. It was a tone of, maybe you could say there was a little bit of sarcasm inside, but it was a genuine tone, a tone of, well, relief. That's what I felt. I felt like it was coming from a tone of relief, and that is just not his voice. A lot of Ghanaians feel like they've experienced some form of relief after voting and knowing that they are passing power to a different political power, and so it's not really more of disrespect. It's more of relief, respite, that some kind of burden have been lifted. The other thing that you have to look at is that, is what he's saying is true. If it is true, then you can dislike the approach, but you can't necessarily say that it was not supposed to have been said. I think most of the time we pretend and we do not have the guts to look in the face of people and tell them the truth. And I think he did a very commendable job there, and he was very respectful. But being respectful and telling the president what he think had happened within the 8 years of administration, there was nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. He sounded respectful, and what he said was true. Some people were saying that he shouldn't have mentioned the cathedral. It wasn't a concern to him. What he said was that you've left something in account. You stood in front of Ghanaians and made a promise that you were going to build a cathedral, and you couldn't finish that. So that's going to be an account. There's going to be an item left in your account that probably we would have to pursue or something like that. So there was nothing disrespectful about what he said, and I think it could be true. I mean, the part where he says that the current president is probably the worst in the Fourth Republic, that's subjective. It's not an objective statement. No research has been done, or no vote has been done to get to that point. It's a subjective statement that he made, and there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a democratic space, and so everybody has the right to talk, and as long as you do it respectfully and you don't invade the privacy and you don't stain the integrity of any person, you're okay. And personally, after watching the video, I think he did a great job. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you do agree or you don't agree. Thank you. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share the video.